Good morning, all. We come to you from the headquarters of the Progressive Democratic Patriots in the Port Mall, third floor. I am Dr. Sean Ned, the chairman of the PDP. I'm joined by the political leader, Mr. Watson Solomon Duke. And we are here continuing the conversation with you. And unfortunately, we are coming again to you with the same topic of murders in Tobago. We have recorded our 9th and 10th murders recently, and we think this is becoming way too egregious. Yes, we as Tobagonians like to compete with Trinidad, but not on murder rate. We would like the days where we were at zero and we had our curtains blowing and everybody's doors are open. Those days are long gone. And we're at a stage where we must start asking some serious questions as to what should we do in order to fix this problem. And again, we're asking this issue. So we give condolences, first of all, to the families of the victims. Again, it's unfortunate that we have to keep coming to the public like this, but it must be done, and we must save our people and the youth that's involved in various crimes going on in Tobago currently. So there's a lot of questions to be asked. So we ask, what is the plan? What exactly are we supposed to do at this stage? When the national security, I believe it was the national security, the minister was asked, he said it's not his job to do a crime plan. In fact, what's been going on is everything seems to be shifted onto the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Of course, they have a part to play, but no one has shared with the public what exactly is a framework towards which we should work, right? What should a crime plan somewhat look like? And in our specific case, we have issues of gangs, we have issues of drugs, guns. If you're living in Tobago, I think everybody knows that. However, there's nothing that has been shared from any authority in any specific way on what exactly we should be considering or thinking about. So we're going to lay out a couple of these ways in a framework format for you today. The main three aspects, the main three groups or entities involved in fixing any crime would be the police, obviously, because they are law enforcement. But you also have the community, and you also have the government itself. And if you take those three and you begin to break them down a little bit further, you begin to see what's been missing in this whole thing involved in fixing our problems of crime. And this is not just with the murders, but all crime. When you look at the police, you have issues of gang intervention and you also have rehabilitation, right? We have this situation where persons go down to the remand yard and they come out better criminals. I don't think that's the purpose of rehabilitation and trying to fix problems with persons who commit crime. So we have that one issue. We also have targeted law enforcement. We know the people potentially involved. The police as law enforcement is supposed to be involved on those particular matters. And then we have conflict resolution. What we understand is that a lot of these particular acts of violence is linked to retribution. Some of them are retribution killings. I'm going to say it. That's what's going on. And of course, what you have sometimes are people who are involved, and then you have persons who are on the sidelines getting murdered for no reasons. And of course, Tobago is 60,000 people strong, potentially, and when one person dies in Tobago, it has a bigger effect. And of course, we know the family-oriented aspect of Tobago. When one person dies, it affects us all. So you can't have that going on in Tobago in any long-term manner. We must fix this problem. So that's on the side of the police and law enforcement. But there are certain things that the police need help with. All right? We have to ask the police, are they fitted to do exactly what they're supposed to do? What support do they need from the other two entities, which would be the community and your parliament, your government, the same government that says that they don't have any role to play on this matter? So let's look at the communities. What can we as people do within the communities? On the first level is community engagement and empowerment. One of the biggest parts is what has been lost over the couple decades in Tobago. Tobago used to be a lot better about its village councils and community councils, and those entities have taken a strong nosedive. They need help. In fact, when that happens, when you have the villages involved, we had a saying that if anybody commit a crime in Tobago, the thief a pencil, you're going to know by this evening. Because everybody knows everybody in Tobago, and that has systematically been destroyed in the past few decades. We need to bring back a sense of community and a sense of everybody knows each other and understands what the needs are of each other, particularly when we speak about the youth in Tobago. We also have mentorship and support services. One cry that constantly hear from youth is they don't know what to do when it comes to their careers. They don't have any clue. There's nobody giving them career guidance, financial guidance, family planning. I remember a family planning office that used to exist in Bonaccord. If you go there now, it's scrapyard. There's nothing. There's nothing there that's offering these sorts of services, it seems, to the people, because there's no result off of it. In fact, what you're seeing as the result is more crime. So something is missing. That needs to be fixed. We generally need community outreach and awareness. So I am sharing this. This is part of that job, letting the community be aware of what's really going on. And if they are aware of what's going on, they may be able to help stymie the problems. Because if the persons involved in the problems are part of the community, there may be a way to shortcut that and stop it from continuing. So we have that as a concern that needs to be handled. Now, on the other side, the last part is where our government comes in. Where is our government in all of this? Now, the government is obviously a part of the laws and the policy making for your country. One of the things that aid us is in education and employment opportunities. This is an obvious example and a way in which we can help the situation. We also have the addressing of socioeconomic inequality. And this stands on its own. There is a widening gap between the impoverished and the persons in the wealthy positions. And again, we can't find enough jobs to suit the persons in Trinidad and Tobago. And I've gone past speaking about Tobago only. This is a Trinidad and Tobago problem in a lot of what I'm seeing here. Because remember, there is no crime plan for actually Trinidad and Tobago. We are speaking on our behalf for Tobago, but this is our overarching problem. And the last thing is long-term planning. What is our long-term plan? The government is tasked with bringing together all these different parts. If your law enforcement has problems, they cannot fulfill certain things, why aren't you working with them? How are you connecting the law enforcement, your police, to the community? What's going on there? I remind you about the community policing that died. That's gone. Everything that we saw that has been systematically removed from the communities has ended us in this position. It is not only about don't do that. There's reasons why youth and people do what they're doing. And if we're just going to ignore that, the problem will keep happening. And we have to stop that. The government must take lead. All governments involved, central government and the THA is tasked with doing the necessary long-term planning for us to fix this problem. And all I would have done is given a small framework of the obvious things that I think most of us would see are missing in the communities and with our law enforcement and with our government to fix this issue. So we come to you today with this matter of murders. It is getting ridiculous. It must stop. We would like to see from our leadership, what exactly are you doing to fix this problem? And if what I'm saying is not sensible, it doesn't work for you, what do you suggest? What should we do differently in our spaces? So with that, I'd like to say thank you. We want to fix these issues of murders in Tobago. And I would move across to our political leader who will give some words. So thank you, everyone.
PDP.
Special good morning to the people of Tobago, Trinidad, wider world. We are reporting live from the PDP headquarters, Port Moore, Scarborough, in the beautiful island of Tobago. I want to pause and give a round of applause to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And that is no, I would call it, negative statement, please positively. It's a real statement. As I look at the work that our police officers have been doing, I think there are some unsung heroes among us. Let's take, for example, in 2020, we had a murder rate of 10 for that year. Based on statistics, all of that was solved. 10 murders, 10 solved. In the year 2015, let me go back, our murder rate for that year was a paltry 7, 2015. 2016, it was even less, 4 murders for the entire year. If we are to take a leapfrog into 2017, 1 year later, the murder rate went from 4 to 13. What went wrong within a few months? From 4 in 2016 to 13 in 2017. You know what happened in 2017? Anybody know? We had a leadership change. A leadership change. Crime is a leadership problem. Crime is a leadership problem. I want to say that. Stop blaming the police for everything. They are bad workers anywhere you go in the world, and they are good workers. We have some of the best servicemen and servicewomen in this country, persons who work extremely hard under poor working conditions with limited resources to get the job done. I am saluting police officers today, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, for the fantastic job they have been doing. Obviously, you're going to win some days you're going to lose, because the criminals out there are very smart now. They're very advanced. They're using all type of sophisticated methodologies to commit their crimes. Yeah? And so we have to turn our attention to leadership. Leadership will decide the ebb and flow of our society. It will decide how persons operate on a daily basis. Why is it? In 2016, crime went down from 7 to 4 murders per year to a spike. 13 persons were murdered in 2017. Leadership change. The party remained the same, obviously, but the leadership had changed. Somehow, I recall in my younger years that when mommy is home, people have a certain kind of leeway. But when daddy is home, the figure of authority is home, I had to step careful. We are asking our leaders to stop playing cat and mouse game as to whose responsibility it is, and all persons are sad and disappointed about the crime rate in Tobago, and let's fix the problem. Based on statistical reports, it shows further in Tobago, most of the crimes are committed on this end, from Scarborough down to the western end, or the areas that are serviced by the Scarborough Police Station and the Shervan Road Police Station. For this year, 90% of the crimes committed have been within that zone. Scarborough Police Station and the Shervan Police Station area. Throughout the years 2020 to 2023, we have 66% of the crimes being committed within that particular area. It should be a focus area. All right? It is the area where our tourism thrives the most. But it is an area that has become a hotbed for criminals, crime and criminality. We have to be careful as we pilot a nation that is still in embryonic stage. We have to pilot this careful. We are asking for self-determination. Those of our leaders, both in Trinidad and Tobago, must ensure that Tobago measure up, level up to a position where it can handle within its borders the unprecedented levels of crime and criminality. I go further to say last week when I stood here, I said, had I been Chief Secretary, there would not have been one more murder past 8. Well, that was last week, Monday, I think. Today being 7 days later, we had 2 more murders. 2 more murders, but several gun-related incidents. I'm appalled. I'm shocked. In particular, in the light that I've heard our Chief Secretary and our Prime Minister speaking on the matter of crime, referring to Tobago as a place that was once safe and nice and oh, how they sad. But their actions does not reflect any interest beyond making the news and giving the headlines. I'm therefore calling upon the leadership of Tobago in the form of the Chief Secretary and the leadership of Trinidad and Tobago in the form of the Prime Minister to do better. You cannot mishandle Tobagonians now and think that next year either of you are going to come leading a party telling Tobagonians vote for you. We don't want that type of rubbish in Tobago's politics. Now you all have all the time. You all have access to all the resources. You all are just making headlines. Water on ducks back. Nobody seems to care. When you listen to the Chief Secretary speak on Friday and you look at one of his social postings, he's running and saying, oh, Tobago nice, eh? What a sick statement. How can Tobago be nice when their mothers grieving, that youth men, children, who will never walk again based on what I'm hearing? Their ligaments have been destroyed by gun bullets. All collateral damage. In the effort to make a statement, gunman is making statements these days. And you are running and saying Tobago nice, it's a beautiful place. Tobago is not nice. While it is beautiful, it is not nice. You can be beautiful, Liz, and not nice at the same time. I'm saying you can be beautiful and not nice. Tobago is beautiful, but Tobago is not nice. I know my good friend Liz is laughing at me. She understands what I mean. Liz is nice, nice. And beautiful, beautiful. Let me just clarify that. She's nice, nice, and beautiful. But she understands what I mean. You can be beautiful and not nice. This is the tragedy in which Tobago finds itself. Beautiful country, but not nice. You can be stopping for an evening lime on a block, talking to your cousins, your uncles, someone, and a good man just pull up and brut, 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 collateral damage, gone in the wind. And we are getting so accustomed to that now that we begin to look out with great interest what will happen this week. It's like a movie, but this time it's real. This time it's our families, our sons, our daughters, our fathers, our mothers. I say enough is enough. And when I stand here, it's mean because I'm reaching my boiling point. I'm reaching a boiling point when I stand here because I want both the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary to know that this is no playboy business. This is no put on no nice suit and talk glibly words business. This is about every child, every mother, every father feeling safe in their home, safe in the streets, safe doing their business. It has gotten so bad now. If you are driving and someone pull up next to you and they wind down their windows to ask you for traffic directions, you will mash out because there's nothing to wait for. You can't wait. Or if you buy a block and a man just mash a hard brick, you're gone. You're running. You're jumping over a bridge because you don't know what's coming next. They have instilled fear in all of Tobago. Therefore, I'm saying while Tobago is beautiful, it is not nice. Long time we used to play jokes and say, I go down for you and come back. I remember those times when you will see some of you all are not old enough to remember that. But some of us are. When I say, I go down for you and come back, you're playing your bad? That's Bajan talks, long time, in Tobago. That's our culture. I go down for you and come back. I want to go to sleep. Next day, I say, boy, you expect me to come back? But behave yourself now. You laugh at it. These days, when a man say, I'm going home for you to come back, you better run. You better don't sleep home. You better sleep by the neighbor or leave the country based on how bad it is. Because these people are armed to the teeth. The kind of bullets they have, as one man said, is longer than a Rapunzel bundle. Long. Some long, long bullets like that. They're not using 9mm. They're not using pellet guns. They are using the most sophisticated weapons to do harm, to maim you or kill you. This is why I'm saying Tobago is not nice. It's beautiful, but not nice. And so what are my recommendations? I want to advise my good friend, the Chief Secretary, avoid creating Tobago police and placing it under you. It will not work. Do not do it. It will not work. And I think I'm entitled to speak to them in this manner, knowing that I was responsible for bringing them into office, but I had to depart. The Chief Secretary, already doing the Chief Secretary job, has failed to properly monitor and evaluate and train those persons on other secretaries, which is his job as Chief Secretary, to monitor, evaluate, train and retrain those secretaries underneath you so they can handle any portfolio and you can know for sure this one is best fitted here or there. Failure on that area. Also, he has now placed underneath him the intergovernmental relationship between Trinidad and Tobago that deals with how we relate to each other. That is a profound area, something that Hotel Charles died trying to solve and couldn't solve it. It took him his entire lifetime. He got gray, he got weak trying to solve it, he couldn't solve it. How does my Chief Secretary think that he can solve it with his backhand? While he's nursing the babes among him, how could he see about that important area called intergovernmental issue is just too much. That requires attention of its own. Then how could he deal with the issue of foreign direct investments, as also placed underneath him now? How could he deal with that? And deal with policing, well, Chief Secretary's job and policing at the same time? He cannot deal with that. How can he deal with energy affairs, Chief Secretary job, and policing at the same time? I believe someone tells the Chief Secretary that he's doing a good job in the areas he's currently managing. But I want to tell you, Chief Secretary, you're not doing such a great job. And you should focus on one rather than increasing your lot. Leave policing out. As a matter of fact, I'll be very careful not to call any ad hoc group Tobago Police, because it gives policing a retarded look. Unless police are properly equipped, unless they are guided by statutes of law, what you are creating there is an ad hoc, retarded group that's going to create more problems than solve issues. I'm saying to you, I've spent my life in labor. I know what they're talking about. You have to have legitimate documents to guide anything called Tobago Police. The name police is a very serious word. Anywhere you go, Tobago Police, a very serious word. Any type of police, be it a state police or Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, they all have two things in common: the power of arrest and the power to bear arms and discharge arms. Those police, Tobago Police, under which piece of act would they be coming under? Is it the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Act? Is it the Estate Police Act? What are they really coming under? What are they really coming under? Are you going to make something in the House of Assembly for them to act under? We have to be careful selling people dreams. This is why I recommended a department that does not bear arms, a department that doesn't have the power of arrest, but a department that is deals with the monitoring and the evaluation and the assessment of data that will work within the remit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, meaning you supply them with information. You call a department Tobago Homeland Security. A less offensive word. Tobago Homeland Security. Once you hear police, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will measure themselves against these police here. You can't have them operating at a different level from the police in Trinidad and Tobago Service. You cannot do that. In my mind, and the Progressive Democratic Patriots' heart, we believe that this department would make a lot of sense, given the fact that there was a big meeting held last year, April, at the Trinidad and Tobago Hyatt, a regional meeting where all of CARICOM came, and they looked at both crime and violence as a public health issue. They recognize that it is much more than retribution, much more than imprisonment, much more than meeting violence with violence. It requires a social aspect. And since we have a department called Health and Social Services, we should utilize that division and place underneath that division, having gotten the cue from CARICOM, place under that division the Tobago Homeland Security Department, which would operate without arms and without the powers of arrest. I maintain that. You want to be your friendly neighborhood personnel that collects data. Yes? And let me give a few points upon which this group can work, and I know my colleague, he can take it, he can dismiss it, but this is what the PDP is about. Total governance, total care. You cannot have governance without care. The first thing we are going to do is to establish, the PDP would do, is to establish in all of the 15 districts a satellite station, a satellite office that would be large enough for workers to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And these are not policemen, nor are they security officers. They are just personnel, public officials with technical skills to monitor certain technological platform devices that would allow them to monitor any and observe any new vehicle entering their district. So if you're in the village of Roxborough, Argyle district, any vehicle that's new that enters that district, there will be cameras placed along the roadway, all right, yeah, that will be monitored by them. They will pick up the number and the vehicle, and they will say that is a mixed match. An alarm will go off, they'll monitor that, not go out and investigate and stop and harass people. That may not be necessary. Someone from town may come to Roxborough, someone from Charlottesville may pass through, but you monitor it. And you call the licensing office, you do a check with it, find out if this vehicle has changed its color recently, that's the number plate for this vehicle. You do your monitoring. And you would be able to say, all right, this vehicle is now turned up in this street. Let's dispatch someone to monitor that scene and do an investigation because you're looking fishy. This is a kind of a proactive and preventative measures needed in Tobago right now, because vehicles are used like water tanks. They arrive, do damage, and they leave when damage is done. And nobody could find these vehicles. They're abandoned on the street, stolen vehicles, and everyone thought it was a good vehicle. The numbers look good, everything looked good. Only a special group of persons with the right technology can detect that this vehicle and this color does not match. The number and color does not match. And the type of vehicle does not match. So let's get down to that. It means we have to go on the world market and fetch a good system built to fit our needs here. This is the work of Homeland Security and the safety in all 15 electoral districts. They will be your friendly people at your football games, blending in, not wearing security uniform or police uniform and creating that level of anxiety among people. They will be wearing clothes and garments, etc., that blend in with the culture of Tobago. They will fit in, all right? And they will always be friendly, talking to the elderly, talking to the young, attending churches. They will be blending in. Obviously, they'll have a uniform, but their uniform will blend in and look much more friendly. These are some of the ideas of the PDP, to say a few. We must have a Department of Tobago Homeland Security placed under health. I know the Secretary of Health is at her wit's end and not able to properly monitor or improve the levels of health in our healthcare system in Tobago, and she's maxed out. But nevertheless, for purposes of advancing the level of monitoring and evaluation and assessment within Tobago, it must be placed there, because that is where the entrance was made by CARICOM for the furtherance and the pursuance of crime and criminality, crime and violence. I wish to say that these persons will form part of our neighborhood watch, as they will be quite resourced, etc., with the vehicles, the electric bikes, and electric bicycles, etc. They'll be able to move and form part of that neighborhood watch, where they could monitor every single thing. They have to be known by all of the residents, and to know all the residents, they must know when someone strange is in the area, and we must understand that they're simply doing their job. Now, all of that would be a waste if they do not work in tandem with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. All of that will be a waste if they do not work in tandem with the National Security Ministry. Therefore, it is critical that before any of this takes place, because we are a ward and we are not our own, there should be some level of discussion with national security, some level of agreement with national security, and with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in particular, to ensure that they are helping and not interfering. And the helping, again, is within the remit of the entire population, because national security and the police in particular are always asking for persons with information to come forward. Indeed, Tobago can create a department of information that monitors the parameters of each and every district, the persons within, and feed that information back to the police, and the police at the end of the day could liaise with them. This is a way we have to solve crime in a very friendly community endeavor. Stop the gaslighting of our public by saying to them, we want the name of all persons who are not working, and then you slip in an escape clause by saying, you know, we can't employ everyone. So why are you taking their names? Why are you taking the names of the unemployed if we can't employ all of those who have given their names? Why take their names? Stop gaslighting people, giving people false impressions when your intention is not to employ persons who are unemployed. The issue of crime is definitely a social one. And unless we get down into the trenches of the community and become friendly and secure the interests and trust of our people, we will not be going anywhere with the crime. Tobago won't become like Trinidad if this is not stopped, where people will see and blind, hear and deaf. They don't know what's going on. Yes, I was outside, but I didn't see anything. To do that, the community must become alive and must work with the Tobago Homeland Security Department. I rest my case here and ask for questions.
Do you think, Mr. G, that the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary should meet to treat with crime, like face-to-face?
Frankly, I think they have all failed us. They have failed to exhibit the qualities of a leader that is born for a time like this. Maybe they are for when things are nice, when things are good and cushy, they're spending money in the country, etc. But when things are hard and people are turning on their own, as they say, dog eat dog, because that's what they call themselves on the street. Yeah, dog, we're going now, dog. Dog eating dog on the street now. It requires a different type of leadership. It requires a leader that will be able to step down into the scene of conflict, into the arena, and separate the two dogs and create peace and stability. This is what the nation needs. Someone that will get down there, in the trenches, on the ground, into the community, and try to bring about some level of peace and stability. They are not doing that. They are busy in their nice cars, lolling off, sipping whiskey and wine, and, you know, biting chicken high on the tire and throwing away the foot. They are living sumptuous, larger than life. They don't care what goes on down below there. Any more questions?
You blame leadership as an issue in terms of crime. You can't elaborate on how leadership, the criminals view leadership as being something in their criminal activity?
In government, everything rests on leadership. In any government in the world, everything, every single thing rests on leadership. Everything. Lee Kuan Yew became the Prime Minister of Singapore in early 1960s. About the same time, Eric Williams became the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We were busy fetting. Lee Kuan Yew said if Trinidadians and Tobagonians, one country, were able to exercise that same party spirit into a productive spirit, we'll be far advanced. But you have become a fat culture. Everything is a joke, everything is a meme, everything is a laugh, everything is a... Let me chuck in something there. We are not serious. But Lee Kuan Yew was able to transform Singapore from a third world country into a first world country in just 20 years. In Dubai, they found oil recently. We found oil maybe 60 years or so before Dubai. Dubai in 20 years became a first world country that is now heavily built on tourism rather than gas and oil. We are still living on gas and oil. We cannot diversify. Our leaders in this country have damaged the country more than I've helped this country. And I'm saying that I'm offering myself. And I've offered myself and I've been selected, etc. But I continue to offer myself. We require serious leadership. What we have is playboys in this country and playgirls in this country. Games. When you are leading a country, you have to be absolutely serious about what good governance is. May I tell you that when you're dealing with crime, you will ensure every single camera in Scarborough is working, every single camera, and every single camera is being monitored specifically by a group of people. And not just monitored, you have the latest technology in camera. So it has facial recognition, it has number plate recognition, and those cameras are any single way you can find them. Yeah? You could buy those cameras now to pick up every moving car, every moving person. You could just set the camera. That's not new technology. So we need to ensure that we have the latest every single time. The youths have the latest phone. iPhone 14, iPhone 15, Samsung 24, 26, whatever the case may be. But the government has the oldest cameras and they expect to solve crime. When it's serious about crime, you ensure police are paid on time, that there's sufficient bulletproof vests for every single police in the station, right? That the police are never short on arms and ammunition, yeah? You ensure that every single vehicle that is given to the police lasts its maximum time. And if it's damaged, you repair it or replace it. You don't let them do without that. You have to give police better wages. You can't give them 4%. You cannot give police 4%. They must be placed on a pedestal. When I went to Dubai, you know, I'm wrong. I talked to the people in Dubai. And they told me that a policeman, which was a doctor in Dubai was telling me, a policeman retirement package is far better than their package. Because you look after a policeman. If you try to bribe a policeman, you will make a jail. Yeah? Because they treat the police service with a certain level of excellence. In Trinidad and Tobago, they treat them like dog. You know, squan, move. No respect for the police service. I want to think that your entire, should I say, your paramilitary services or your national security forces, so to speak, should be paid well. Because unless this nation is secured, we cannot enjoy decent and peaceful and happy living. When your house safe, you could lay down and sleep in peace. When your house has no door and window, you have to be getting up and look out, sleeping light. We want to secure our country so everyone sleep good. People could walk late at night, no one is to trouble them because you know there's a penalty for that. Police officers also must know once they engage in any nefarious activity, they will be treated as criminals. So let's get it right. Let's get it right.
What is your view on the extension of the police commissioner's tenure?
Well, I would say those who extended the time have more information than me, and I believe they have made the best judgment within their remit. However, I will say the nation will now judge them based on her performance. They will expect her performance this year to exceed that of the other years, which means crime should go down and other activities along that line should be reduced. And that's how she's going to get a passing grade. Otherwise, if crime has not been reduced substantially and other activities along those lines, then they would have given poor judgment and the Prime Minister should not even offer himself back because he would have been part and parcel of that decision. But for now, they will be evaluated. And we believe they have more information than we have.
Do you think that they should make a greater effort in bringing back the Community Comfort Patrol unit or program that they had when they jumped?
The Community Comfort Patrol existed at one time. I think we need something up for a little bit different from that. The idea is a good one. But you don't want people just driving through your area, everything all right. I said, these persons I'm talking about here that belong to the Tobago Homeland Security Department, they are stationed within their district. They are making constant patrols using electric bikes, electric bicycles, yeah, and electric cars to save gas, etc., etc., you know, making rounds continuously. They have men planted on the ground, some doing patrols, they stay within the district. They ought to know where every person live and know the faces. They're not moving out. They have no chance of those persons moving out. And it's an opportunity for persons within the district to get employment. Because I tell you, we'll need a lot of forces on that. I'm going to give a number to it, but you will need to run a proper shift. You will need proper support staff. You will need those to monitor those cameras. You will need those to do investigation, to liaise with license office. You will need a lot of stuff to get it done, yeah. But the Community Comfort Patrol, they would have served a particular time. Now it's a different time. We need something a little more that's upgrade, you know, because bandits now are a little bit more smarter, wiser, a little more technologically advanced. They're not running on foot again. They walk in and walk out and run. They're driving in with style. SUV. You understand? Nice cars. Untinted cars sometimes too. Bust the shot. They rock back, drink a beer, smoke a spliff, and get out of town. While people trying to solve that behind there. And nobody could stop them. We have to stop that. Thank you all very much for attending this. I hope you all will carry the right message. That Tobago demands better. Trinidad demands better. At the end of the day, when it's time to vote, I trust the nation will put the vote right where it matters. Thank you.